allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Garvelia. Commissioner Story.
I'm glad you got there.
Commissioner Perkins.
Yeah.
Commissioner Messersohn.
Over here.
Mayor Condon.
So the coronavirus I hear about?
Yep.
Okay, Commissioner Garvelia, you want to administer approval of this?
Yes. Sorry, not sick, 12 of us. Okay, we have the minutes from the meeting on February 10th. I trust everybody's had an opportunity to look over their minutes, and if there are no changes or additions, corrections, I make a motion that they be approved.
Commissioner Messersohn.
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Story.
Yes.
Commissioner Garvelia.
Yes.
Mayor Condon.
And then we had the continuation meeting that was held on February 14th. And I'd like to make a motion that these minutes stand approved.
Second.
Commissioner Messersohn.
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Story.
Yes.
Commissioner Garvelia.
Yes.
Mayor Condon.
Yes. I've got two of my good friends, Alan Crichton and Mike Rolla, and they want to address the council for the time span here. So
We,
have the floor.
kind of want to come up and give the city a little bit, schedule, where we're at on things, and try to keep you updated. We feel like the courthouse is the county, but it is city of Evans too, because it's in your town.
Yes.
And we're just trying to work with you on things and let you know where we're at. There's been a lot of different talk, different dates, what's going on. But me and Larry Miller from the board, Mike Rollins, meet on a committee every other Thursday, usually for 3 to 4 hours. On meet with the architect, engineers, on the courthouse, on the design phase. And we have put together a schedule, our project manager has a bar schedule, that I'm gonna pass around, it's up to date. And I know they've been talking about demolition being right away. It won't. Our first thing to do is we're gonna do asbestos abatement. And the next, bid it out in the next month or so. That's gonna take 2 months, maybe 3 months. Our projected plan right now with the architect to have plans ready to bid is June 16th. Now, this date can go up or down, but I mean, every month we update it on our schedule, what we're doing. We'll have the sale bids in, and then we will go out for bid on 16th and receive the bids on the 14th of July. Then we will award it by the 28th of July and plan on construction starting around that date. Reason I say demo will not be done earlier is because the demo contract is going to be part of the general's contract this building. I know everybody's been saying, oh, they said it's going to be this, it's going to be that. Well, we're trying to get it, update you enough that you know what's there. And like I say, Lee's going to come to that meeting, and you guys can pass this around and you can have this when you're done. We're on Made an X, we're at 50% on design right now. takes it all the way out to completion. And then, everybody's talking about the budget too. Like I say, we, had an original budget right at 18 million. And then we went in, first numbers they come out with, this is what the architect and what he put together in project manner, just what they thought it ought to be, they's at 23 million something. But we went back and said, no way, and we cut it back. Well, we cut it down to 20,833 right now. And we're looking at more cuts. We cut it just the last meeting by another probably 170,000 on the heating package and cooling. We're gonna try our best to keep lowering that.
That doesn't only include the courthouse, that includes everything.
Yeah, that's everything. That's a camel building, total on everything.
Does that show what cuts were out?
Huh?
Does that show what cuts were made? Like what cuts were made out of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basement, all that.
In the last column, what they cut out, it's
Okay.
shows there. And like I say, that meeting, we've been doing this ever since, what, my first October or
Yes.
September? We've been at these meetings every other Thursday for 3 or 4 hours. And we'll be doing that all the way through to the end of construction. Some people was talking about, well, who's gonna watch the construction? Our project manager, we got hired, we'll have a guy there, plus we'll be around looking ourselves. That committee, we got Larry Miller and me. And then we got Jim Muir, office holder, state's attorney, sheriff, all sitting in on it, putting their part in, trying to design everything. And then I'll let Mike talk a little bit about the parking, what we've done.
Thank you.
These are minutes we get every meeting, what we've done. Uh-huh.
Well, I got a piece of cardboard, I don't know where, if I need to sit up on that table or do this, but I got some diagrams of what we've actually produced so far.
Mike, you sit up on this table right here.
Okay. This is just the site plan itself here. As you can see, the Sally Port. This is north, there at the page. Sorry, Don. We need the young lady to come down the other side. But anyways, we have the Sally Port. At first, we were going to go downstairs, and that was a big thing. They wanted to come in one way, from the east, drop the prisoners off, and go out to the west. A lot of issues with that, as far as, when we do that, we lose a lot of actual space, because we're giving up to the garage to put in the Sally Port itself. We only have like an 8-foot clearance, and then half these vans that are dropping the prisoners off are 8.5 plus. So we're really back up onto the ground floor with that. With that being said, when we met with IDOT originally, which was back in the summertime, there was some concerns over the truck angles and how they travel. They wanted to see a lot of the parking being eliminated so the truck traffic could actually, the geometry of it, could get around the square. So we eliminated some of the parking at the time being for that and with the Sally Port. So we are losing some parking, and then on the west side, which is going to be your main entrance, because the thought of this, everybody's coming off 57, more people traveling to the courthouse, it'll be a better looking site for that. All this is still work in progress. We don't have the actual permit through IDOT, but we have been working with them through the whole time. So it's going to be pull in, pull right back out, just on ground floor. With that being said, we did originally have 55 spots here, and we're still working on this. I mean, we just did this one, I guess that was the last meeting, this was last week, but that's what we're looking at for the site plan at the courthouse.
So when you originally talked about 55 spots, does that include the handicap as well?
Yes.
Okay.
That's currently out there with the old courthouse.
Okay. It's showing 9947.
Yes, yeah, so.
Okay.
So we're losing, so, the same thing here, just, you know, a little bit closer up. So this is the basement itself, which at first we were looking at a full basement, and now this is going to be, you know, basically a half to a third of the size. Why that still is, they'll come in from the Sally Port, we'll keep our utilities down here, and keeping prisoners separated and all that stuff too. So the thought of the Sally Port is, once they bring that prisoner in, you won't see them, you know, on the first floor, second floor, just in the courtrooms, and they'll go straight up the elevator to where they need to go to, which the general public can go to. So right now, it's not a full basement. We did have it tested. I think it's 11 foot before we hit sandstone, so it's all capable of holding the 3 floors above it, and all that's fine. We're going to go on the first floor. Again, there's a Sally Port, one of the courtrooms. So you're going to come in. Here's the north side. Right now, the Sally Port, I guess, you got 2 cars coming in with the option of, like, I guess the 9 spots is reserved for any extra vans and also judge parking. If we have the judges if they actually wanted parking, but they really didn't want to because they don't want to know whose car's what. When the person's leaving, they find out they've been fined by that guy. Exactly.
They said they would park wherever they needed to. They didn't want to be designated parking.
Yeah, so it's just a target on their, you know, being, hey, here's the judge's car, where the key is, you're walking out. The footprint is basically a 110 by 105 is what we've got. So we're basically, we have lost a lot of the grass area, you know, and that being said, you know, there is still quite a bit of it there, but, you know, landscaping is not much, you know. I know you guys did a wonderful job with us on the, you know, the Christmas stuff and like that stuff. So we will have some there, just not as much, obviously.
It'll be 20 foot from the building to the sidewalk.
And it's pretty much on each side. I think one was a little shorter, but just like by a couple feet. Oops, sorry. With that being said, we do have 4 courtrooms, is what we're shooting for. Right now, we have 4 elevators. Again, this is still a work in progress, but we have 1 for the employees, 2 for basically general public, and then 1 just for prisoners to be withheld from that. We also have 6 judges' offices, and then we'll have 3 court reporters. Currently, we only have 2. We did a work needs study, so basically what they figured out is the traffic cases, the population growth or decline if you're in Illinois right now, but that's what they, I guess that was Fittress.
Fittress out of New York.
Yeah, it's a company that goes around, so they just did a nice study for us and then gave us what they think their variables are going to be. So a lot of people's asked, has this been over-designed or under-designed? Well, they're looking at it as if it's a 20-year from now. So, the way me now and I think Larry has looked at it, we still have the Campbell building that we just used as a temporary facility. We still have 10,000 square feet on the bottom floor, which can be used for office space right next door. So. But there's the 3rd floor, so again, there are 2 courtrooms, but all of it's going to be handicap accessible. The main entrance is going to be on the west. There is going to be entrances on the east side for the stairs and stuff like that. That is more for just the Sally Port itself and even the judges and like court reporters to come in basically on the back door. I think one of the variables is was the Sally Port. I think we really narrowed it down. I mean, I'm safe to say that that's about what it's going to be now. Yeah. But that's been a topic. I mean, these 3 or 4 hour meetings, I mean, all we do is sit there and scream at each other, and I think we're done with that one. So, that being said, that's what we got in the courthouse. You can go ahead and flip them all over and currently, we're at the Campbell building right now, as you know, for the last 2 weeks, and we're down to Benton Evening News, if you guys drove by there, you see. So we're putting in the parking lot. I met with Lee, and And so what we decided to do was go ahead and remove all the parking area, or the whole parking area, and we're also going to do the sidewalk. So the sidewalk, which was tied right into the Benton Evening News, was pretty rough. You have some grass area there, which is kind of hard for us to maintain, so we removed all that, and we're going to put it back in full, which is your guys' and stuff. So hopefully, got a contractor Wednesday to finish up. We didn't want to tear the, I call it the alley that leaves your exit of your current parking lot, just due to liability. So we left that because we didn't think we'd get it done by Friday. So hopefully Wednesday he'll be back. We'll finish up the rock grade, but we'll be pouring concrete hopefully next week, if not sooner, but it's supposed to snow Wednesday.
How many spots was that dead? How many spots in the parking lot?
Right now, what we got is 17, and it's what I figured out, that we wasn't replacing the sidewalk, so I haven't did my reconfiguration. And all that was doing like a 90-degree into the wall, let's say. We were planning on leaving that up, and that would be 14 like going into that, and then 3 like parallel with the sidewalk. I didn't, since the sidewalk's there and people walking, I thought we'd just do the parallel parking there. With that, we'll still come out to, which is your guys' alley or street, whatever you want to call that. Me, Lee met, and we talked about leaving that as a one-way, which I'm sure you guys don't want to add another entrance in going to the square itself. But right now, that is going to be done by the county. We've looked at the neighbor to the east at purchasing that property and adding additional parking there. I have spoken to R&R in the past. Not really a lot going on there. We're kind of seeing what's going on, but he has showed interest in selling that property possibly to the south, that one corner lot. And then Alan's talked to Mr. Aiken for the church.
First Baptist.
First Baptist Church. And currently, the agreement between us is we can park anywhere on that for our employees, and that's what we instructed them to do. In a gravel spot, which they own, and on the west side. Anything to the south, we are not supposed to be parking there.
On the blacktop.
On the asphalt itself. Other than that, that's about where we are with parking. We have put in 3, we're putting in a 4th handicap spot right at the Campbell Building, so the addition that was added to the north. And hopefully the board allows me to buy some asphalt and at least get that asphalted over. I think they found out, with the weather, especially with the older folks that come in, we all knew there was a lot, but I don't think we really, when we see the amount of older folks come in, we need to find something closer for them, because there is some struggles there, and even the mud coming in from the parking lot into the Campbell Building is it's a pain in the butt, so hopefully we'll get some asphalt out there. What we have addressed, I've had, like the owner of Pizza Joe's, I'm terrible with names, I wish I could remember the gentleman's name, but I'm sure you know it. I did speak to him, and there were some concerns, like, I don't want people parking in the northeast parking lot, which is your guys of the square, and I assume everybody knows what I'm talking about, the big one. And I told him, I talked to the board, and I offered him to come to our committee meetings, but he just calls and stuff. And what we are planning on doing, and we don't have it all figured out, the contractor will be assigned, a spot. He may get to purchase that himself, but we are not going to allow him just to park anywhere. So what we thought we would do is dressing the plans in like a special provision, saying, not to be parked in this spot, but, we're envisioning, at least I am, that they'll be renting a spot from, somebody in Benton where they'll use that to do their parking.
I heard they was doing it on the south end, right over here.
That's been mentioned as a good spot, but as far as that being in stone, no, not at all. That was just
Bid documents that they have to find their own spot, and then the pre-job for the bid will probably suggest and have a list where they can look and let them take care of that.
And when we met with IDA early on, and we haven't met with them as a group since this summer, the thing that we have is our property is the way they mentioned it. So anything within, the back of the parking spaces on each side of the square is ours. We can do whatever we want, and they were thinking that we should put up, and probably will demand, it was just, they were thinking at the time, that we'll put some type of barricade system around there to deviate, 34, 37, whatever highway you want to say, traffic out there from ours. So it would almost be like a concrete barricade, or the least, I could see like the orange square fence. So, in my opinion, I have heard things that we thought we would allow the contractor or people to park in there as it's being built. I really did not see a bond and insurance company would be loving that for their contractor to do that. So I really do not think that's going to happen. So we'll be blocking that off. And then we asked if we could shut the road down, and they said, at best, maybe one night, and probably not, so that's where we're at.
It'd be up to the contractor, the hard flagman, flag the trucks in and out. When they're demo, I don't think it'd be too bad. The worst thing we're gonna have is, just like the other day, when we had that decommissioning, people slowing down to look. And that's gonna be the worst traffic you have. I don't think the truck traffic on the interstate, I think every way you can get away as good as it has been.
Currently, go ahead, I'm sorry, no. So currently, with the cable being there, we've seen the problems. Our signage, as far as ours, just directing the pedestrian traffic is not good at all. It's basically non-existent. So we're going to try to address that, like, enter only on the east side. We got people coming in from all doors, and they're supposed to go through the metal detectors, thank you. And so we're trying to address that. When I was getting with Lee and we spoke about this, and hopefully, he's coming to our meetings and stuff, we'll be looking at, even the alley, how to sign that better. And I know you guys got parking along the streets and stuff, but that's what I envision us, even on the Campbell building, because it's going to be there for a couple of years like that. So that's kind of hoping. And even like I was out there, and then the city park that you got, the stairs that, and we said, well, that's one time somebody actually ran down the stairs last week. I said, well, actually, that's the third or fourth time that I've been out there. But,
And we are working on more on this.
yeah, and then, and I was just hoping we'd work together on that, and, talk about bollards or any type of signs. But that's what I hope, what we get and report back to our board and you guys. Absolutely.
But that.
I'll mention something, I don't know if you know about it, or Joe's down there at call. There's that wrecker rollback down there on that parking lot now.
I saw that, I'm kind of mystified by why it's there.
It was up on your park area up there around the square over there, right in the middle since Friday. And they were still there this morning, so I called the sheriff, see if he could get it moved so we can use that parking. And then this afternoon, I noticed it's sitting down there.
Sitting where?
On Joe's new parking lot he built down there.
Yeah, they have more authority to do that.
It's out of Chester, the name on the truck. I don't know what he done or what there.
Our new parking lot, I think.
Yeah.
Zanesville building, the one we have.
So it's there now? Yeah. Well, it was at noon.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
I'll look into that.
You guys are welcome here anytime, you don't have to stay.
Okay.
We're gonna try to-
for you, by the way.
You have a,
Yeah, I didn't forget.
thank you.
We're gonna try to come,
Okay.
your last meeting in the month here.
Anytime.
Try to update it.
If you need any help, you give us a call.
Thank you.
We'll work with you. No problem.
There you go.
Thank you very much, Al. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, guys. for
See
coming.
you guys.
Do you guys need this document back?
Oh, you can have it.
Sorry.
I did see that.
Yeah, public affairs on updates. So we have a city mystery here, and I'm going to discuss it with the council. For the better part of the summer and the fall, someone has been doing some, and I'm talking about heavy dumping illegally on our first lot entering into the industrial 2 complex. I talked this morning with Craig, and he said the water department's not doing it. Lee confirmed that the street department's not doing it. So somebody has dumped humongous chunks of concrete. I've seen it. The Garavalias were out riding around, and thank you, Kathy, for taking a picture of it and bringing that to me again. It's my opinion, here has been dumping this on there, that they're gonna remove it. If the city had to deal with this, it'd be an astronomical cost, and no one has had any approval to dump on that lot. The lot, I talked to Lee, we want that lot to look like a golf course, and people enter into the industrial 2 park. That's our calling card. You know, here it is, beautiful lot, and here's our industrial 2 park. So, for them concerned, tomorrow morning, we're gonna start this investigation. Whoever's been dumping there is gonna remove it. The city's not gonna be liable for somebody doing that.
The city's been dumping in that before though, Mayor.
The city has not dumped these humongous
Well, I don't know what they dump in the trucks go in and out there. I seen it.
Yeah, I'm asking you two guys, have you been doing that? Okay.
We dump it on their own property.
We have our own one too.
That's right.
I've seen city trucks come in now there. I go that way to the line every day. Every day I see it.
I just called Donnie Wine just to verify. Donnie Wine said that is not city concrete, and that's not city, what's the big brown concrete thing that,
Pylons,
huh?
pylons.
Pylons or
Culverts.
culverts. Thank you.
Culverts.
It's not our culvert.
Well, I tell you who can tell you who had it leveled. Donnie Wine had it leveled from Lampley's excavator. He's the one that took the dozer in there and leveled it for Donnie.
Yeah, we had a level, and it was nice, and then,
Been dumped up.
yeah. End of subject, I what we're gonna do.
Good news though, we got some people in town needing some concrete fitting their big ditches. right?
Part B, discussion or approval of new language for the airport hangar leases. Tom, you want to address that?
Mayor Judy had asked me last week to, or excuse me, the last meeting, there was a motion to approve amending the leases at the airport. And just want to give an update that it's already been approved, just the other, there is a new paragraph 11 Rachel and I worked on. And that paragraph 11 specifically reads that lessee agrees to keep aircraft registered and insured at all times. Lessee will provide proof of insurance upon request. That's simply what the paragraph will say. So we just want you guys to be updated on that. Nothing else.
Part C, discussion or approval of Benton downtown TIP facade improvement program. Gary Myers.
Last week, for our last meeting, we discussed about getting this done, and we had a proposal on an application and agreement. Everybody should have one of those either in their mailbox or in their packet. First page here is basically the TIP downtown area here and whatnot. The grant terms will not exceed $5,000, so if this project is $15,000, we'll pay $5,000. If this project for 10, we'll pay 5. If this project for 8, we'll pay 4. Only for exterior repairs or renovations on commercial storefronts and facades which front on public streets, alleys, or parking areas. This is all within the TIP district. We're going to include facade, rehabilitation or repair, roof repair, rehabilitation as part of the visible facade elements. This is all on page 4. Door and window repair and replacement, exterior painting, awning, sign, and canopy repair and replacement, exterior lighting, replacement, installation, tuck pointing, and masonry repair. Other items that are viewed as necessary or complementary to the property's exterior renovation is accepted by the city and permitted in their own discretion. The budget allowance for this year of 2020 will be $40,000. An application and agreement be submitted back here to the TIP Administrator's Office, and that's me, and those will be reviewed by the Zoning Appeals Board. we'll have something to do every month, you know.
Sounds good to me.
They'll make a recommendation to this council, and then this council will discuss it and approve it on a monthly basis, maybe 2 times a month or once a month. And there's a proposed grant application here. I've already had a call this afternoon about this, I said, we can't do it until they approve it, so call me tomorrow, and they will, we'll get that taken care of. And then we've also got a grant, facade improvement grant agreement here. Basically, we've got to get it going within a year, and it can be extended under certain circumstances. And you can't really like pay yourself for your own work, you gotta pay this out to laborers and whatnot. Those things have to be paid. One good thing is, you can be a lessee, or, like a tenant, or you can be a lessor, like an owner there. And so if there, somebody owns the building and somebody rents the building, then both people would have to sign. And one good provision here that Mr. Malkovich and I discussed was, if you owe any taxes on the building or any money to the city, like for a liquor license or a fine or a lien, then you don't get this grant, so those things are paid up front, ahead of time. So, pretty good agreement. I recommend this to the council. We start signing people up tomorrow morning at 7:30.
David, I appreciate your work on this. I think this is a huge thing for the downtown area, and I appreciate you doing that.
Especially with the new courthouse coming in.
Yeah,
Kind
yeah.
of matched up and looked good.
Just in talking to the people around downtown, they're excited about it, feel positive about it.
Yeah.
It says we care. So
From
that
the
means a lot.
success there, you don't have to spend 10,000, you can spend 8, we got 40 to go. Need more, we'll figure that out in 2021, and be ready to go with it.
Good, thank you.
Appreciate a good vote on this.
So
Is there a way that we
Mr.
can-
Garibaldi, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, is there a way we can do it online after the vote?
I guess we can, there's a,
And then-
that'd be great.
You
if they
can
could
download
fill
the
that out.
I mean, just to see the map alone, and like people, like for instance, George Patrick's building a new car lot where Double D's is.
Yeah.
He wondered if he could get something, to help the city help, right there, it's right on there. He can see his plan stuff, so I think it's great.
We can get it on there tomorrow morning.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
We need a motion to approve the Benton Downtown Tip Facade Improvement Program.
I make a motion that we approve the event facade improvement.
I'll say,
Commissioner Merschman?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
yes.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Mayor Condon?
Yes. City Attorney, do you have anything?
No, nobody's other than there for me.
Okay, accounts and finance report, Mr. Garabach.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll jump around here on mine. First, I'll do the sewer adjustment. And the sewer adjustment, we have 2 applications. One of them is Debbie Bundren at 1208 FC Street. And her losses over a couple of months, a period of time, there's a big water leak under the house, been going on for a couple of months. And she has not resolved the issue with it. She has a landlord, and the landlord wanted to, but he hasn't done anything yet, and so the water's still shut off, and she's planning on moving. So without there not being a remedy to this, I don't believe that we can authorize a sewer adjustment. I make a motion that we deny this sewer adjustment.
Second.
Commissioner Merschman?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins? Commissioner Story? Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Mayor Condon?
Yes.
And then the second one is for a Cole Younger, 903 East McKenzie Street. And this is another break in the water, break in a water line under the house, and the loss occurred on February 8th and 9th. The remedy was that they repaired the line with new fittings, and they meet the requirements. So I make a motion that we approve this application for sewer adjustment.
And this has been completed?
Yes.
The way you read it, it sounds like it remedy is to repair, not been repaired. I just
No.
make sure.
It was repaired.
It was repaired. I'll second.
Commissioner Merschman?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Mayor Condon?
Yes.
Okay, and the payroll, we have out of the general fund, $65,569.64. Out of the water and sewer fund, we have $27,057. And out of the airport, we have $1,100, and the total payroll for this period is $93,670.21. I'll make a motion that the payroll be approved.
Commissioner Merschman?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Mayor Condon?
Yes.
And that, there's one thing I'd like to address. It's not on the agenda, so should I just wait until new things? It's just about working, it has to do with bills and stuff. It's working on the budget, and I need to ask each commissioner to get with their department, and all of the budgets, the needs, the information for the budget needs to be done prior to March 9th. And some of the things that needs to be looked at are mandatory items such as maintenance and purchases, things that you know that you plan ahead for, software updates, agreements, gear, expirations of programs, training, maintenance on vehicles, things such as that. And then I need to set dates with each department to get out and work on the budget. And I believe that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Public health and safety report.
I'll go backwards. Can I go backwards?
You can go backwards. Frontward, sideways.
Frontward, I got fire chief has gone to an annual Mavis meeting for 2020 to pick up a $80,000 sonar while he's there. He will be reimbursed on his food and his motel room from Mavis. All we're out is the gas to get there and back.
You will not be reimbursed for this?
He will be.
So we will be out
The gas.
not just the gas, but the gas provisions.
They're paying for the.
Oh, Mavis is paying.
Mavis is paying for it.
Oh, okay.
All we have to pay to get him there and back.
Okay.
Just for clarification, gentlemen, the letter that he's provided the city indicates that Mavis, in years past, has paid for the admission and the lodging for the Division 68 matter, where the city would take care of his per diem and the fuel for travel using the city vehicle. So the way I read that, Donna, is actually we would take care of per diem.
That's why I asked.
I'm not saying that's what's gonna happen, I'm just saying that's what his letter to the city
The per diem shouldn't
indicates.
be there because that's for food and.
So you're only asking tonight them to approve the
Right.
reimbursement of the fuel expense on the city
Fuel
vehicle.
expenses on.
And that's why I was asking.
Yeah.
And my other question is, it's on the agenda, but he's already gone.
Well, that was my deal.
Okay.
He was gone the other day. He had a 911 meeting somewhere in Century or somewhere. But Dennis always wanted me, and I'm gonna start doing it, when they go to meetings like this, I want the council to know. So we wasn't gonna say nothing about it, but I wanted Joe to know where he was going.
Okay.
So in case you seen him
about going north on 57, and he took the pickup truck, didn't take his tile. I just wanted you to know where he was going.
So it's more for information than it is for approval.
Right,
So it's more
right.
just a discussion item.
Right, to let you know where he's at, and, because you'll see the gas bill when it comes in, wherever he buys his gas, it'll be up around Champaign somewhere. It's supposed to be at Springfield, and they canceled it.
So then when we see the bills, then we'll only see bills for gas, and
Yeah.
this is covering everything
Yeah,
else.
Mavis covers everything else.
So there's no motion or anything we have to do with that?
No.
Mr. Malkovich?
I mean, you go ahead and do the motion for gas, but you got it on the agenda, so I'd recommend that you pass that they pay for the fuel reimbursement only.
That's nothing else.
Okay. Well, I make a motion that we reimburse for the fuel.
I said,
Commissioner Messersohn?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Story?
yes.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes,
Mayor Condon?
Yes.
next time, on timely manner.
The next thing I got is for an auxiliary fireman. It says, please accept this memo. It's a request for hiring of Justin Rawick as a auxiliary police officer for the city of Denton. The crime background check has been completed along with interviews and references and the applicants themselves. I believe Rawick will be a valuable addition to the city's auxiliary police force, which is currently composed of 5 volunteer officers. Mike Andrews. I make a motion we accept that.
Commissioner Messersohn?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Mayor Condon?
Yes. Third and last, this has been a ongoing thing for months. The fire department and myself, and I think Lisa was kind of on board for it. Benton's wanting to get their own bank account for extrication and hazmat. When they're out on interstate or wherever, 37, if we have to use hazmat, we charge the trucking company or whoever's involved, plus extrication. We cut somebody out, insurance pays us. Now, we're gonna pay back the salaries of the people. We're wanting to put everything else in hazmat and extrication into account where they will buy their own extrication tools with it and their hazmat. It won't come out of the general fund, it'll come out of that. So,
Is the majority of the expense when something like that takes place, is it the labor, is it the time, the salary?
labor phone. So I think she's got a check now for $3,100, I believe, and she said that $900 would come back to pay for the labor.
And the rest of that's phone?
The rest of that is phone.
Okay, and then so it becomes a rolling account where it feeds itself?
Right.
And it doesn't affect the general
The rest
budget?
of it's phone, and it will be put in an account where if they don't use it, every time they use it, they take out of that account. If they get another extrication tonight, there'll be more money going in that account. Or hazmat. That's all, nothing else. I make a motion to accept.
Commissioner Story, on that motion, if you look at your resolution, it only makes mention of hazardous materials. That's what was provided.
It should have been extrication too.
I know, I'm telling you what was given to me, and apparently that's all that was given to me by the treasurer. So that's
I
why I
don't
don't know if
want to vote
you want
on this then.
Yeah, if you want to table that, discuss that with the finance commissioner and the treasurer.
No, it's the same account for extrication and hazmat, so. I just figured that was, we've been going through this for a
It
minute.
seems like a long time. They finally gave me the information, this is what they gave me to prepare from,
Okay. It should be,
I even asked that question, and that said this is what was approved, so that's why it was only prepared that way, so I think we have a motion to table.
yeah, I make a motion to until we can get this straightened out. Again.
Second?
Commissioner Messersohn?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yep.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Mayor Condon?
Yes. Hey, Don, we'll get it by July, don't worry.
It's been going on too long. And that's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Streets and improvements,
Mr. Mayor, I don't have any purchase orders this evening. I only have one ordinance, which is number, what's that?
Two.
Just two?
Yep.
No, that was easy. This is in regards to the speed limit on Coin Street from the top of the I-57 bridge down to Petroff. And the city's recommendation, the motion at the last meeting, that we reduce that speed limit to 25 miles per hour. So I'm seconding the motion that we approve ordinance number 2002.
Commissioner Messersohn?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Mayor Condon?
yes.
And Mr. Mayor, that's all I have this evening.
Okay, thank you. Public property report,
Go ahead, nothing tonight.
thank you. Miscellaneous business? Did you cover anything you want to cover on?
Yeah.
After this?
The only thing I wanted to say is that we are still getting comments in on the suggestion boxes, and we appreciate the public, making comments and pointing out things that the city is looking into.
You have any more unique comments?
There's always a few unique ones, yes, sir.
No bring comments this week.
I'm not going to be,
Get all. Old business? New business?
The only thing I might say on new business is when we begin the conversation of mosquito abatement. I'd much rather do it now than wait till May or June, like we did last year. And I don't know that we have to have any decisions, but it'd be something that, as a council, we begin to think about, knowing that we had a one-year contract for last year.
Do you have any suggestions? Have you heard any suggestions?
Yell them all.
Okay.
I know that last year we did basically the bricks and the storm sewers, and that only alleviated part of the issue. So I think it's probably going to be a combination of the bricks of some sort and spraying. And I think that there needs to be at least spraying to some capacity, unless there's some other option out there.
Around the communities, we've been doing both, but they say that's the only way to fill it all.
Well, I followed up on that last year, Tom and I did a little bit.
Yep.
Spraying is very expensive. You gotta send somebody to train.
Yeah, if we do it ourselves.
Yeah, and it's, to go to school, it's expensive, and to buy the chemicals and buy the machine. I talked to West City, thought we would maybe see if they we could hire them. No way. Matter of fact, they got into a big old fight. They weren't gonna renew their license. The guys there got into a rigor shoving match. Now they've sent two off to school to get it done. They don't want to do it. They tell me it's a waste of time.
The school.
No, the spray is a waste of time. They spray and they do both. But as soon as that spray gets the ground, it's over, and then more mosquitoes are there. They didn't want to do it. They said it's just a waste of money.
Did they provide what they thought would be their alternatives?
They wasn't gonna do nothing. Telling you. Am I right, Tom? Did I tell you that?
That's what you told me.
We have to come up with something.
Well, so anything that we do will send them over there, because they're not doing anything.
I don't know if there's anything that you can do with it. I really don't.
You've got time, it's smart to start it in February, so let's look at that.
Yeah, and that's just more for awareness, to put it on our radar.
Right.
Here we are at the end of February, it'd be good to have something in place before spring hits, because in another 30 to 75 days, or 30 to 45 days, we'll be there.
Right. Hey, I wish they was, but they put that stuff in last year. Did it work? Rained, pushed it out. You know.
Well, anytime we jet it out of a storm sewer, it's gone.
I think if we're gonna do anything and try it a year, the spring would be the thing, but having the money and the resources and the people to do it, I don't know if you'd send it to do it. And then you've gotta pay the overtime to do it at night. I don't know. It's something to think on.
It's good thoughts.
Yeah.
Good bad. So, at least that's on our radar this time, we're a little ahead of the game, since we've been here almost a year now.
Very good. Hey, Madison.
I have one last thing. I should have brought it up during sewer adjustments, but I wanted the council to be thinking about summertime pools and all of that in regards to sewer adjustments. And, some cities are totally doing away with sewer adjustments. So,
On swimming pools, right?
pardon?
On pools?
On everything?
On everything, no sewer adjustment. So I just want the council members to be thinking about where we want to move on this, because it does take a lot of manpower. But especially when it comes to pools, and I had stated before that, you know, one man may want a sewer adjustment for pools, maybe some other guy wants to, you know, power wash his house or whatever, you know. But one of the things that is a possibility, and I've spoken with Craig about this, and that's doing a bypass, a meter that you hook up to the house, and as the water comes out, it's calculated, it's measured, it's metered, and then it puts all of the responsibility on the homeowner